Everybody. It's Curtis Dondino, and we're here for another Don Press Play review. Okay? And so, in short, I was looking to see some reviews on this movie before I checked it out. And besides the trailer, I really didn't see any reviews. I saw like literally a couple. None of the big YouTuber review channels actually took the time out to review this movie. And I'm very disappointed. And I really recommend them to check this out already. I can let you know you should definitely press play. Okay, sound effect. Because, one, beyond this being a great movie, it's a movie that you can watch more than once. A movie that you missed a couple of the messages the first time. A movie that, even though it's long, there's a reason. This movie closely reminded me of... Damn, I didn't even say what movie we're talking about. I mean, of course you know because of the title. But still. Okay, so we're talking about The Shack, which is based on a popular New York Times best-selling novels. And, you know... I will give you a little backstory. So in short, there's a guy who loses his daughter, or his daughter's abducted rather, and he blames himself for it. And there's a journey that he's taken through, which honestly heals him. And I really don't want to give any spoilers on this because I really feel like you should watch this. From the trailer, it's very vague, so I'll kind of leave my commentary vague for the most part. But what I want to say is that this was such a beautiful movie. The portrayal of who... The idea of what healing means is very important, and the message that they're trying to get out there is how important it is to heal yourself and to accept good. You know, there's a lot of lessons that the movie teaches, and I really want to get into that more so than anything. It teaches you that you can't really be the judge of what's good and what's bad, because that's not up to us to decide. And we think that's our job, but our job really is just to be kind and love. And I might sound like I'm trying to be like over super positive, but these are really just the messages that the movie is putting out there. And I have a lot of other messages that I could talk about, but I really don't want to get into it too much because I really feel like this is a movie you should see. This movie closely reminds me of The Lovely Bones, but in a completely different way. This has much more of a connection or a love level, but there were similarities in the way it was filmed to me. And just like the process of accepting something that's really, really painful to you, and seeing that there is beauty in it, there is light in it, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The only difference between this and this movie is it shows that there doesn't always have to be punishment for something bad that was being done, especially if you're the person who decides the punishment because you felt like you were hurt by it. You know what I mean? So then it becomes a cycle. And I think this movie talks about stopping the cycle of hurt. And it's just someone's interpretation of what they feel like, you know, how humans should operate and how we should interact with God, rather. Very religious movie, but not religious at all, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's like really like someone's own interpretation, which to me is something that one can stand by, if you know what I mean. So, I'm Curtis Dondino. I definitely think you should press play. This was a really great movie. I know I probably didn't say much, but I wanted to be vague, and I really want you to see this movie. If you've seen this movie, we can discuss it below, and I advise you, if you haven't seen this movie, don't even look at the comments. I probably get like maybe one comment. I don't really see any reviews out on there, so maybe this video really won't get any click, you know, like, you know, I watched this review, now let me watch this review type of thing. But what I will say is that it was really a great movie. I think it's something you should see, especially if you ever lost someone or you ever felt pain. I'll give you a quote from the movie. The quote said, "When all you see is pain, you lose sight of God." And to be honest with you, there were so many times in my life. I'm 22 right now, and so there are a lot of times in life where, especially when I was younger, that I would question certain things and I would wonder certain things. But what I decided for myself was that believing would allow me to live a better life. It would allow me to be happier. And don't get me wrong, there are many questions I have. I've always been the type to question everything, and that's just my nature. But this is definitely a great movie. I definitely think you should see it. You should take your kids to see it. Take your mother to see it. I'm actually going to go back and see it with my mother, because I was telling her, I just read her a list of quotes that I saved in my Twitter drafts, and she was literally crying. Because she's very, very emotional. That's where I get my emotionalness from. Another quote I could give you is, "I can make incredibly beautiful things out of unspoken tragedies." And I just thought that was beautiful. And that was, you know, I can't, it's so hard because this is one of the one movies I don't want to talk spoilers. I don't want to get in depth without, talking too much. I don't want to analyze certain things. The music was great. I'm not really into country music, but I always could appreciate it. I love ballads, so generally speaking. So I really love this movie. I actually favorited the soundtrack on Tidal so that I can go back and listen to it because the song was amazing. I've been on premiere night, so I got to see cast behind the scene interviews and stuff like that. So, just to see that they were really emotionally attached to the project, it shows that, that's where the emotion came through. Other than that, you really will leave out with something positive. And that's something that I feel like other movies don't give you. I want to feel like I got some sort of value from a movie besides seeing, a superhero kill thousands of people with no remorse and stuff like that. I would much rather see something where I feel like the message resonates and help me be a better person. And one thing that I learned from the movie that, I already kind of knew, but it just confirmed it or reaffirmed it, was that one act of kindness can change the world for the better. You know what I mean? And on our day-to-day lives, we can, on a small level, because this movie kind of shows things on a grand level, very beautiful movie, but on a small day-to-day life, it teaches you that just being kind can help. Another thing, I do want to give this away, and this probably will be the only spoiler. He asked in the movie, do you, all I do is work and go home. I really don't find much purpose in that. And she says, there's meaning in everything you do if you do it with meaning. And basically, if you do it with kindness, then you still can be doing your part to change the world. And that just let me know that it's possible for people like you, and possible for people like me, to change the world just by smiling at someone. You know what I mean? Like, you never know whose day you may have had changed, or you may be able to change with just a smile or a compliment or anything, but just not in like a super aggressive way, or hey, you look fine, that type of thing. But overall, this was a really great movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I definitely would like to see it again, so it's definitely a John Press play. Honestly, this weekend, the fall, or before I fall, I haven't seen that yet. I'll probably go see that Saturday night. But before I fall, Logan and The Shack came out. Those are like the big three. And honestly, I went to see Logan and The Shack first, and honestly, I really like The Shack better. They were both long-ass movies, but trust me, The Shack has a lot more meaning. It made me cry like 3 times. And if a movie can make me cry, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. All right.